Hey everybody, it's Watachi. I'm still running free. I don't know which channel I'm going to put this on. Probably, maybe a couple of them. Uh, I think most of the people on my Fakawi four-wheeler channel, they came over from my original channel. So I don't see a need to put this on there. But as far as my two newest channels, my Watachi Still Running Free and my Watachi Running Free 2, uh, I've got to get you people to understand who and what I am, where I come from. Now, I've said some things in videos that I didn't even realize it until today, that it almost sounds like I could be talking about gang members or something. Now, I've talked about in my videos about blood family that I have had down in Alabama. My mom and dad lived down there. My dad died last December 21st, right before Christmas. My mom was left down there with my sister and her two nephews. Uh, they took my mom to the cleaners, everything. But my mom died just right before my birthday in May this year. So about 4 months, 5 months after my dad died, my mom died. Now, I wasn't even invited to any of the funerals. I didn't know when it was, where it was, what happened, nothing. These people, I call them my blood family because they were. They was my mom and dad's family that I was a part of, but I was never a part of it really. I was the oldest son, and my sister was the oldest, but she was the girl. Then I was born, and then my brother was born 4 years after me. So I was the oldest son. Now, most of the time in a family, uh, if the father's going to name a child after him, they name the first son after the father. Not my family. They named my brother after my father. Why? Who knows? And I don't give a damn. That's water under the bridge now. But I'm just saying, those people, for up until about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, anytime I had contact with anybody around my parents down there, my sister, her nephews, one that was living with my parents for a while, living off of them, there would always be fights and shit stirred up, and my parents would be mad because I would tell somebody off or whatever, and so it would just cause problems. And I always told my sister my sister, she split my face when I was young. She pushed me off a set of bunk beds. My whole face split right now. That's why I wear this mustache, cover up the scar, but it even runs right down through here. She slammed my thumb in the car door when I was about 5. She kicked a basketball when I went down to pick it up, and it laid this thumb clear back on my arm. I went down to pick it up, and she kicked it and just laid it back. Same thumb she crammed into a car door. Dislocated it. But this my sister caused so much hell between me and my mom and dad with her lies and her everything that it was hard for me and my parents to even have a relationship. So we didn't. We had a long distance relationship. And my parents allowed it. So it was their doing. But that's my blood family. And I told my blood family, they put me through so much hell in about 55 years that I told them, I said, by God, there's going to come a day when mom and dad ain't here, and there will be no reason for me to ever contact you guys again. When that day comes, it will be joyful in my life. And people, let me tell you, that took the most stress out of my life that I've had for 60 years. When I blocked all their numbers, I told them, no, don't call me, don't write me, don't get on my YouTube channel and talk to me. I'll block you. Don't do none of it. I don't want nothing to do with any of you. Well, it's been few months now. I haven't had to worry about nothing. I used to lay there waiting to hear the phone ring because I knows it was going to be your dad died or your mom died for about the last 3 years. And so now I don't even have to worry about that phone call no more. That took stress off of me like you wouldn't believe, folks. Now, the family I talk about that's not blood, this is my wife. This is my wife. When I met my wife, she was she wasn't never married, but she had a guy that she left the town she grew up in with, and they had a son and a daughter. The kids was my stepchildren's father. He was I met him, and he was a real good friend of mine. I became a friend of the whole family, a friend of my wife today, and her babies. My friend would even call me and ask me if I could take, because he drank a lot and stuff. He would be drunk, and his wife would need, or his girlfriend would need to go to the store, and he would call me and ask me if I'd take her to the store and stuff. And we'd load up the kids and we'd take them to the store. Well, I didn't know it, but he was trying to get away from her and the kids, and he was trying to push somebody into that position. Well, see, I didn't know he was trying to do that, but he kept calling me to take his girlfriend to go places and stuff. But I was with another girl, and I got married. My wife now, she was at my first wedding, her and her boyfriend. Matter of fact, my first wife's brother was a good friend of my wife and her boyfriend, and he shared rent with them and lived in a 3-bedroom house with them. That's how I met my wife and everybody was through my first wife. But after me and my first wife split up, that only lasted, it was 1 day shy of a year we were married. And somehow in Wyoming, you can get a divorce without both sides being there. Because she divorced the hell out of me, and I didn't even need to be there. I just got the paperwork after it was over. But after that, this guy, he ended up, when I was married to my first wife, he left my wife that I have today. He left her and the kids. And he moved to New Mexico with another woman. Well, that's when I started helping. I got with my wife that I have today. We were already friends, so she would call me for help or whatever, or I'd go over there just to see what's going on, because she had a little boy and a little girl and needed help. And we both liked each other. I didn't know she was in love with me. I didn't know it, but she didn't tell me until later. I didn't think I would, she was even an option. I was told years before that I could never have kids, so I didn't mind the fact of finding a woman that had a couple children to raise. I didn't mind that. And it ended up being the kids of a good friend of mine, even though he screwed up. But a few years after me and her got together, we moved in together, and I started raising the kid, my son and my stepson and my stepdaughter. They were like 3 and 5 when I started raising them. Well, we let my stepdaughter, she wanted to go stay with her father one time, so we let her go. She come back a couple weeks later, said she never wanted to go back. Well, he ended up dying a couple years later. So my son don't even remember him at all. That's how young my son was when he left, and my son never seen him after that. So but my daughter's a couple years older than him. She kind of remembers him, but not much. I've been their father. Um, my son got married. He a few years ago bought a house here in Ohio and had our first granddaughter. My family keeps growing. Still yet, none of them are blood related to me. And I've said this before in videos uh, that my family, none of them's blood to me. So I could see where people might think that's a gang related type of thing. And I'm going to get to that. But I also found out about 3 years ago my sister and a woman from Arizona that was about 29 years old at the time done their DNA, and it put them together. It told the woman in Arizona that my sister was an aunt of hers, either an aunt or a niece, I think it was. And my sister was way too old to be a niece uh, to this woman. Well, this woman asked her if she had a brother, and my sister said, "Yeah, my brother's got a kid already of his own." And so she thought when she said that her father was my sister's brother, my sister immediately thought of my brother Brandon, and and she said, "No, my mom finally told me the truth and said his name is Brian." And at this same time that this is being found out, there was another person that got a hold of my sister, and we found out my dad had an older son that was even older than my sister with a woman he was with before he met my mom. So I get a phone call, and one phone call, 5-minute phone call, I'm told I've got a daughter and an older brother, half brother. Well, finally, the daughter gets my number, I get hers, or somehow we get a phone and we call each other and we're talking. We meet a few months later. She's part of my family now. She just got married, and my family keeps growing, folks. My family keeps growing. But you can rest assured, none of them are gangbangers. Now, I've been accused of a lot of things in my life, and this is why I've told you these stories about me. And today, somebody didn't accuse me of it, so to speak. But they had taken it that I was asking them if they wanted to do some gang banging or something. I don't know. And I can understand why they would have thought it because of the way I use the word family. They're not blood. Um, there's other things I've said that I've talked about that because of my work, I'm an Uber. I run Uber and Lyft. Been doing it for 4 years. I'm forced to do it. But I run everybody. There's no areas that I don't go into, and there's areas that I go into that are gang related areas, and I know these people from picking them up, taking them places, and they're in my car. I'm talking to them. I know who they are. I know what they're doing. They ain't hiding it from me. I have to tell them to no, you can't get in my car smoking that. They think I'm just going to let them in my car smoking weed or whatever, blunts. I'm like, no, man, hey, come on. I do my business out of this. But these guys, they've given me names, even though they know my real name because it's on the app. It's on the app. It tells them what my first name is. And some of them might call me by it, but they make up their own little names for you. Because I wear my cowboy hat all winter, keeps my head warm. Some of them call me cowboy. Some of them call me old school. Because I tell them what I used to pay for weed back in the, let's see, early 70s. And I tell them how things was at that time. So they call me old school. And from having these conversations, I had somebody who's kind of picked up on these certain things. He had been involved in these things before, and he picked up on them, and that was an assumption that he made. I mean, he and I go back and I think, and I can understand it. I can understand him making that assumption because of the way I talk. People, even in high school, I was not in one of the cliques. We didn't even call them cliques. We called them, you guys, there was guys they were the jocks. We had the nerds. We had the stoners. And we had these groups of guys that were riding the skateboard. Boarders, I don't know what you called them, but they had like their own little group too. Now, I wasn't a part of no one group. I rode the skateboards. I smoked the pot with the stoners. I drank and partied with the jocks because I knew, I dated cheerleaders when I was in high school, a couple of cheerleaders. So I ran with, I even dated the principal's daughter just to piss off the principal, but she was a pretty girl. I liked her. I mean, it wasn't just for that, but that was an added when I did it, because he hated me, man. He hated my guts. I was the bad seed. Hey, let's just put it like that. But I ran with the jocks. I ran the football players. One of my best friends. He played on the basketball team. He did track. He ran long distance track. He did all kinds of shit. But and I also knew the nerds. The people. And I even, man, at times I'd be at the drive-in, and all of a sudden I'm getting banged. Me and my girlfriend be watching a movie or whatever, and somebody banging on a window. And this one time, they're like, "Hey, man, Perry Meridian's over here, man. They got a bunch of guys from their football team. They're gonna kick the shit out of the Greenwood. Greenwood's where I went. Bunch of jocks. Well, the dumbass people I went to school with went over and stole a cooler of beer from the other guys at this movie. It was a drive-in theater, people. This is how long ago that was. So they had a big rumble going in the freaking movie theater. Well, I'm with a girl. It's a new relationship, and I wanted to be in the car with my girlfriend. Man, we need all the help we can get. There's a bunch of them. Said, all right, I'll be back in a minute. So I get out of my car and I go over there. We got a bunch of guys standing there, pussy, fuck you, man, fuck you. There's a little bit of shoving and shit going on. I'm standing there looking back, thinking about the car. My girlfriend in the car. And I'm like, man, come on, you guys. This ain't nothing. Give them the beer back and let's just forget it. And they're like, no way, man, we done drank half of it. I'm like, okay, well, fuck it. I walked straight out and just right up to the biggest mouth out there, and I just fucking bust him right and drop him. Thinking, well, once I started, everybody else will get involved. I'll sneak off and get back over there to my girlfriend. Did not happen anywhere even close to that. I punch this guy, he falls, and about 5 of them jump on my ass. Everybody that was standing behind me, they're all standing a little bit farther behind me now. And they're watching the beating. They may be even cheering them on. I think I heard some of them cheering these guys on. Now, after I've been kicked, punched, throat jabbed, and everything else, eye cut open, turning black, bloody lips, laying on gravel, by the time these guys got done beating on me, then my buddies come up to help. They pick me up, carry me back over, and lay me on the trunk of my car. They wouldn't even put me in it because they didn't want to talk to my girlfriend. Well, I was a fool. And it never happened again. But I thought they had my back. This is why I don't run with a group. I have family members. They don't have to be blood. But we're not there to get anybody hurt. We're not there to talk anybody into doing anything that could get you put in prison. Ever. We don't do anything to harm people. We don't do anything to steal from somebody. We try to help where we can. And when we can't, we try to at least do something. I do not tell anybody to use violence against anybody. Unless it's in self-defense. And then you have to. You cannot defend yourself without violence. You cannot do it. I do not use violence against anyone. I do not use violence. I do not steal from people. I do not sit around and think about how I can scam somebody. I do not do these things. I would never ask anybody else to do them. I fight when I even have arguments with people, not to even think bad about those people. When I drive down the road, I used to drive down the road, and, well, look at that fat son of a bitch. Look at that ugly ass woman. Look at that broke ass bitch. And you know what? I was every damn one of them too. Every one of the names I was using, that's exactly what I was. I don't do that stuff anymore, folks. If I see somebody overweight, I go, oh man, dear God, please, if there's anything you can do to help that person to feel better about themselves, get back into shape, or to find you and get that knowledge on how to do it, please, Lord, please do it. I try to not judge people at all, even. I try to be a righteous person. I walk around town or drive around town. I don't do a lot of walking, folks. I can't. But I drive around town and you see these women. Why do you have to dress like you're going on stage to earn a bunch of $1 bills? Why wouldn't you want to dress like you was classy, like you was a lady, a mother, have respect? That's what I was telling my wife yesterday. Man, I go up here to the mall. I got to go in and pick up food. I got to go, oh, I can't look that way. Oh, I can't look that way. There's these women are, they got their breasts hanging out. They got clothes on that doesn't even look like they have any clothes on. So I said, I got to walk in and go. In order to try to be a righteous man. Because you all want us to look at you with lust. People, I tell you guys these things because I want you to know who I am. Why I do what I do. Why I don't want money for it. The truth doesn't need money. Now, I might be off when I talk about some things on the numbers or or the way to pronounce something. But I don't just go off half cocked on something and not know what I'm talking about. But people, I tell you these things because I want you to know who and what I am. I am a follower of the way. Jesus said, He is the way, the truth, and the life. I follow the way. I strive for the knowledge for truth. And I hope I can get that eternal afterlife. That's who and what I am. I do not seek to harm, destroy, to cause havoc, chaos, or anything, folks. All I want you to understand is the truth. You are being lied to about everything. Once you understand that, then you can move on. Folks, this is already 26 minutes. You probably ain't going to listen to 10 minutes of it. I hope you do. I would never ask anybody to harm anybody in any way, shape, or form, unless it was in self-defense of yourself or your loved ones. Then go balls to the wall. Don't hold back. May God bless us all, folks, because that's the only way out of this. Make no mistakes. He loves you, and I love y'all too. The only way out of this is through Jesus Christ. And that's my only message that I hope any of you believe. That's the one and only message I hope any of you believe about what I say. I ain't lying to you about nothing I say, but that is the one thing I hope you believe. If you don't believe anything else I say, any other words that come out of my mouth, I hope you believe that Jesus Christ is the only way out of this. Because no man, no Donald Trump, no Biden, no Obama, no Hillary, none of them, none of these human beings are going to pull you out of this. They are the ones that put you there. So, till next time, folks. God loves you, and so do I. Have a good one.